with the loser on the blue. Get down.
Let me clear my throat. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm not gonna get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informant, that information for me. Important, you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focus on scoring. Got your underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the court, squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my ditty boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with pens and needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up. And the snake hits get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma take up. If I don't shake me to wake up.
Happy Thursday, happy Thursday, happy Thursday. Welcome everybody to Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B. I know it is the day after Christmas, so I'm sure everyone is still enjoying their families and their time well spent together. I hope you all had an amazing Christmas holiday. You spent time with family and friends, and I hope that it was good and wonderful for you. So, on tonight, just wanted to come on real quick. We're not going to be on here long. Just wanted to give like a little end of the year message of encouragement. Maybe some of our team will pop in. I'm not sure. We'll see. And it's good no matter what, because we here, right? Right. So welcome again. It's a Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. As they always say, thank you for joining us, and we pay homage to none other than our Queen Bee here on the Bravo with Sheila Network, Pastor Sheila Ingram, my Auntie Bravo, who I always give a salute to for yielding me this captain's chair every Thursday night so I can come and spend a little time with each and every one of you. Y'all going to work with me tonight because my eyes are really killing me. But I do see in the house that we have the greatest moderator in these YouTube streets, and she belongs to us and we belong to her, and we are all together. And she is in the person of Lady Inay Kenya in the house. How you doing, beautiful? Merry Christmas to you. I hope you had an amazing day yesterday. 'Tis the season and Jesus is the reason. We all know that. And while we're on that subject, the Bravo with Sheila Network is not a Christian-based network. However, we who are on the panel, most of us are believers. So as I always say, I'm a God's girl, so you're going to get a little Jesus when you get me. Right? Right. And so with that being said, we do appreciate and we do acknowledge everyone's thoughts, feelings, opinions, whatever your moral compass is. We do respect that. We just ask that everyone would be respectful. That is the number one thing that we ask and we look for here, is the respect from one another. And I again apologize, y'all. My eyes are bothering me on today. We got Pastor Rosa, my mother. I'm her 404, literally. She pushed me out. We got Pastor Rosa in the house on today. Good evening, Mother. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. I sent you the link, Mommy. If you want to come up, you can. You don't really have to. Like I said, we're not going to be on super long tonight. Just wanted to come and share some encouragement for the end of the year with everybody. So, with that being said, I think I got to clean my glasses because I feel like I can't see. Where were we? Yes. So we respect everyone's thoughts, feelings, and opinions here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. We just ask that everyone would be respectful. So I'm sure you're all still celebrating. So even if you're catching the replay, this is fine. We do ask that you would like, subscribe, and share because sharing is caring. It is free 99, as we say. So we appreciate it because it helps to push the algorithm up, helps to push us up, and helps to get us out there so that we can continue to share, excuse me, y'all, this great content with other people. So let's see what else. Hope that you would join us. If you have not subscribed to the Bravo with Sheila Network, please do, because I would hate for you to miss an amazing, amazing Monday night panel with my fellow podcasters, my sisters, my HG family, in the persons of Coach Pache and Dr. E. They're on Mondays right here at 7 p.m. on Mondays Beyond the Mic. And they come on and share relationship talk. Sometimes we cross platforms and we are just everywhere, but we over here doing it, trying to help everybody help somebody by helping themselves first, right? Right. So with that being said, please like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss any of the good stuff that goes on here. And even if you can't catch us live, jump on and catch a replay. We appreciate it so very, very much. And we appreciate you here on tonight. Now, by chance, although this is not the Christian portion of our network, we do right across the street. Either way you go, you can't miss it. We do have the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network, which over there we do preach the word, speak the word, have opportunities for meditation and fellowship through song. Pastor Sheila is over there sharing the words, sharing wisdom, sharing worship. So hop on over there, like, subscribe, and share, and make sure that you go over and get a little bit of encouragement as we all need from time to time, right? Right. Whatever your moral compass is, we receive you over here. But across the street, you can get some good encouragement. But Pastor Sheila, she is on pretty much every day. She pops up. She's all over. You never know, but you don't want to miss it. And also, you have the Women of Grace who come on Friday mornings at 11 a.m. And you also have my mom, again, who's in the chat, Pastor Rosa. She comes on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can catch her there with a good word. Okay, all right. So with that being said, on tonight, our conversation, and just bear with me again because I told y'all I'm going blind today. Not sure why I can't see, but there we go. All right. So on tonight, we have an amazing conversation. And yep, there we go. All right. Now we got it. Now we're cooking with gas. So y'all work with me tonight. I'm so sorry. My eyes hurt. I think it's just age catching up with me. Oh, we are here. We are here. We are here. So on tonight, just want to wrap up the end of this year. We have had many great conversations, many great topics, many great guests. We have had our Thursday night squad, who I appreciate so much. So team, I do want to tell you, thank you so very much for going these 12 rounds with me all year long. For those of you who have been hanging with me even from before, we're getting ready to embark on year number 3. So next year we are going to be loaded. I promise you, we're taking it up a few notches. Our conversations are going to get deeper and a whole lot more real. You know, here we have real talk with real resolutions. We're not here to convict nor to convince, but we're here to have conversations so we can have better understanding of one another. But in order to do that, we first have to have a better understanding of ourselves. So we are looking to improve the relationship that we have with ourselves so that when we show up in relationships with one another, we are showing up as the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. Right? Right. Okay, so I pray that you will join us in 2025. And Lady Dawn B will be back in the spot with some hot topics. I promise you, I promise you. And we're going to have even more amazing guests. But Thursday night team, I want to say thank you so very much for everything that you have contributed to this space, to these conversations, how you've shared your experiences. You've all talked from your heart. Again, none of us are experts when we come on here. This is not a counseling session. This is just conversation. But everyone speaks from their well of experience throughout their lives, which we all are experts in something. Some of us are legitimately doctors and licensed counselors and therapists and coaches. But when we come on here, we are really just talking from our experience, hoping to help someone else to be relatable and help us to break down those places within us that we need broken down, so that we know that you are not alone. So again, Thursday night team, I thank you so, so very much. We've had my brother from the same mother and father, 204, Minister Donald Brathwaite. He's been on a part of our men's lounge. Um, Pastor Linwood Beal, he has been on a part of our men's lounge. Pastor Chris, aka the Psalmist Voice, thank him for co-chairing or spearing, moderating the men's lounge. Appreciate him so much. We've had Pastor Lindsay, who has come on, and appreciate him. That's my brother, along with his wife, Lady Rhonda, who's a part of our ladies' room, along with Lady Deshawn Beal, who's a part of our ladies' room. Dr. Indy Brown is a part of our ladies' room. My kin, Anitra Ace Carter, the Ace for Perspective. She is a part of our ladies' room. And newly to the crew is my sis. I can't even begin to tell you, but my sis, Lady Risha, she has become a part of the ladies' room as well as the Thursday night panel all around. We've had my brother Gregory Bloomfield come on and be a part. And if I am missing anyone, please charge it to my head, not my heart. Oh, and I cannot forget Sir Vaughn, the Invisible Man, Eric, who comes on and shares his wealth of wisdom as well. And we do appreciate them. I absolutely do appreciate them. And what they share. And I'm sorry, y'all. Again, bear with me. My eyes are messing with me tonight. So let's see who we got. Oh, my sis, Michelle Roach is in the building. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you for joining on tonight. We are just coming in to wrap up the year. I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. Just wanted to add a little something to end the year off right. We have been here all throughout the year, and I didn't want tonight to be any different. So again, like, subscribe, and share. Invite a friend. If you're watching the replay, again, I do appreciate it. You can still like, subscribe, and share, even with the replay. Help us get this information out to those who may need it. So on tonight, just really simple and real quick, just want to talk about wrapping it up. Now, I know it can mean many, many things. Oh, I can't forget, thanks to Coach Michael Black Men Don't Cheat Claiborne, who has been coming through every Thursday night this month and just supporting us, lending his voice. You'll be hearing and seeing more of him in 2025. We are going to be revamping some things on Thursday nights. You'll still have some ladies nights. We're still going to have some men's nights. This year we've had the poets. We've had the authors come on. We've had the unsung heroes. We have had a host of people come and share, and it has just been amazing, and I am so grateful. But again, I just wanted to wrap up this year with something good. So we just want to talk about how we end a thing, how we should end a thing. Excuse me. And bear with me, y'all. I've been sick, so doing a little bit better, doing much better than what I was. But we here. So I just wanted to chat with y'all a little bit on tonight, real quick. It's just us, a little personal, a little intimate. I hope y'all don't mind. But we want to talk about wrapping up 2024. I don't know about you, but this year, we tend to get we always say at the end of the year, like, this has been the worst year, of all the years, and we're ready to see it go. Believe it or not, this year has not been the worst year. I cannot say that. This year has been a major blessing for me, to me. And when I look back and I think of my own personal growth from January till now, even this time last year, when I go out to the end of 2023, some people came into my life at that time when I didn't even know what it was going to look like going forward. God knows what He's doing. He knows who to send and when to send them. So I ended 2023 with there was a shift in my circle, I would say. Didn't know how it was going to be, didn't know how it was going to work out, didn't know what the year was going to look like, but I was excited and I was grateful, and I'm still am grateful because I've gone through a year of new friends, new relationships, new adventures, new experiences, and I feel like it's been a new me. And so, in wrapping up this year, I feel like I'm in a good place to start on to the next thing. So let's see who we got in the house on tonight. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me bring him up. Come on up here, Sir Vaughn, the Invisible Man. Eric, how are you doing on tonight, sir? End the year without that laugh. We could not end the year. What's popping, Vaughn?
I'm doing good. How are you and everybody in the chat?
Good to see you. I'm good. I'm good. I'm holding it down, trying to,
All right.
make it do what it do.
All right. Okay. Let's,
You
let's,
know,
let's get it. Let's get it. Let's see. Because we
don't
gonna see how
start.
this call will go tonight. Cause
Listen, we never know how anything is ever gonna go, but we're just glad. But it goes, and we go with it.
right,
But it goes.
right, right.
We'll see what it is. We'll see what it is. But thank
Okay.
you for joining tonight. We missed you last week. We appreciate you popping on tonight to have a little bit of conversation and
Yeah.
wrap up this year. We're just gonna wrap it all the way up.
Great to
Um,
be here.
let me see. Let me see. Y'all bear with me. I told them tonight my eyes are hurting. I feel like they popping out my head like I can't see. Let's see who we got in the house. Oh, my sis. Deidre Hill is in the building. Hey, sis. How are you? How are you? How are you? It is good to see you. And we've got Vaughn here. And oh, it's my sis again. Did you see? Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get my eyes right. So how was your holiday, Vaughn? Bear with me 1 second. I need to clear my eyeball for 1 second. How was your holiday?
Oh, my holiday was good. Spending time with family, friends, son. He was happy of all what he received, his gifts and things like that. Praising God and stuff like that. Yeah, holiday was great. Good to
Awesome.
be in the house. How was yours?
Mine was well. It was really, really good. I have to say, it
Hmm.
was a good holiday. I enjoyed myself.
Hmm.
I think pretty much it's funny. God has a way of making sure. Um, he has a way of making sure that he turns your frown upside down,
Hmm.
and I feel like I got everything that I wanted, and some things I didn't even ask for, but they were
Mm.
good blessings and nice surprises.
Oh
So
wow.
I felt really loved and appreciated. It's never about the gifts.
Hmm.
It's always for me. It's always about family.
Right.
Those that I love. So I appreciated everything that was done for me, towards me, just to show love and appreciation. And yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm not mad about it.
You
Um,
said your frown was down. It was down, and then it turned around.
it did. It did. Yeah. I have been having like a little bit of struggle, on and off a little bit the past few weeks. But God has a way of. I never stay
Hmm.
down for long. I don't give anything more than 24 hours.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When I'm in my feelings. And that, also is a part of our conversation tonight, talking about wrapping it up.
Okay.
I don't believe in letting things linger,
Hmm.
not in my feelings nor in my emotions. I don't believe in carrying stuff over and over. I don't hold grudges. I just deal with what I need to deal with the best of my ability. But
Hmm.
sometimes, all of us, our hearts get heavy. Life is life and things are happening. But,
Right.
all going through, we've all made it through our worst days,
Right.
period. So for me, I give it till midnight and that's
Hmm.
it. After midnight is done, it's a wrap. The next day is the next day. Let's see. We got my auntie Bravo on here. Said, I love you. Niecy, auntie, I can't see tonight. Um, I got something. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I got something on my contact lens that will not come off.
Oh man.
I'm trying to tell you, it is disturbing my vision. She
Oh,
says, I love you, Niecy.
if you
Come
need
on.
help, I can read it. If you need
Thank
help,
you. Please do, because I can't see.
yeah, I got your back. I love you, niece. What an incredible! I think it's supposed to be New Year. Thank you for blessing the network. You are amazing.
Aw, thank you, Auntie. I learned from the best,
Oh
which
yeah.
is my Auntie Bravo. Auntie Sheila
Mhm.
is the truth, y'all. If you don't
Yes,
know, now you know.
yes, she
Now
is.
you know.
She be
She is
speaking
the
that
real
truth.
deal. All right, what that was say?
It says blessing everyone in chat from Bravo Sheila Network.
Okay, there we go. There we go. So yeah, and wrapping stuff up, like I said, I wasn't always that way.
Hmm.
But I've learned that it is not worth it to carry something into the next day that we don't have to.
Hmm.
Whether it be an emotion,
Hmm.
I would say the negativity. I don't carry any
Hmm.
negativity. However, I'm feeling, I'm learning how to process my emotions in a different way. And it could just come with now being older, having experienced some more things,
Hmm.
and just with life. Do you find that now that you are older, because we're the same age, that at this point in your life, you just don't carry as much as you used to, like on to the next day?
Yeah, I was always I would like you what you said. I don't carry grudges. I was always like never let things get to the far of me that it'll control my emotions and cause me to not prosper or not progress in life. But what I do though is I be always what hinders me is I will dwell on it and see why is this person or why is this happening, or I do like as far as okay, what did I do? So I always go through my steps. Sometimes they may last over 24 hours or a couple of days. It may last a week because I'm always trying to figure out the problem and why this person or person's thinking this way. Or what did I that's what I do sometimes. But I have like in my life now, I don't dwell on as much as I used to.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like I will, and I guess it's fair to say, like I will process the thought,
Hmm.
um, such as you're saying,
Hmm.
but the weight of it, the things that make us feel bad, the negativity,
Right.
um, those things I try to make sure at midnight, like I'm
Hmm.
gonna leave it right there. If I gotta cry, then I'm gonna cry, but at
Right.
midnight I ain't dropping no more tears.
Right.
And when I get up the next morning, because I refuse to carry stuff with me
Hmm.
that I don't have to. Like I said, I don't hold grudges and things of
Hmm.
that nature. It's just not in my heart to do anymore. I think it is more cancerous. Hey, partner, thank you for rolling through, standing still. My partner, Antoinette, the lady, the poetress. She says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, fam. Yeah, she is my poetic partner, and we are
Oh,
co-authors of the greatest poetry book ever to hit the stands, and it can be found on Amazon. That's right, I am plugging our book, Soul Poetry. Okay. Um, but I refuse. I don't feel like carrying things,
hmm.
to the next day. But like you, I will process it. I
Hmm.
will take my time to think it through some more. Some more.
Do you cry? I know you say you may cry, and then after the 24 hours you don't. But do sometimes do you reflect on it, and then when you do reflect on it, does sadness come up? Not to the point that you will cry again, but does it come up to the point that you'll feel it, but you just won't let it progress or prosper for you to cry?
Yeah, absolutely. It
Mhm.
absolutely does. Let's see. Hold on. We got Paris Von Time. Hey, Paris. Hey, sis. Thank you for joining on tonight. Good to see you. Um, that's my church fam. She in here, my sis. But yeah, I do. Understanding that. Okay, even in wrapping it up, there's something I don't believe in resolutions anymore. I don't
Mhm.
I don't do those. I just resolve whatever it is that I may be feeling and going through. And I'm sorry, y'all, my oven is beeping behind me, so it is doing its own thing back there. But as I'm processing through the situation, um, it may trigger me. Another sad feeling may come up.
Mhm.
And what I will do in those spaces and in those times is I'll
Mhm.
allow myself to feel it. But
Mhm.
again, I won't set in it. I won't sit in
Okay.
it. I won't rest in it. I don't let it overtake me to the point where I can't function.
Mhm.
I won't stay in sadness because it is not going to help me get out of where I'm in. I don't like how I'm feeling, but I have to accept it. And so when those feelings do resurface, I write it out again and then I give it to midnight, you know.
Okay.
But each day is just a different step of healing, you know.
Mhm.
Each tear or each time I cry, it does release, and it's a lot. And that's something that I wouldn't do in the past. Actually, I just would like suck it up and stick it. Like, well, I ain't gonna never gonna let you see me sweat and all of
Mhm.
that. Oh, hold on. We got Dr. ND in the house. I want to bring her up to the stage on tonight. Hey, sis. Good evening, Dr. ND. How are you, sis?
Grace and peace. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Toasted marshmallows. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever it is. Whatever is happening, that's what it is. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
It's
Yeah.
the Black Power Ranger.
Oh, goodness gracious.
The Black Power Ranger is in the building.
Yeah.
He's in the building.
It's my girl, baby boy, Doctor D.
Clear the year that we have nicknames for everybody now, y'all.
We do have nicknames. I'm just saying, but there's only one black, invisible Power Ranger. That name, nobody will ever be able to take that name. That name is
Now,
just for you, Von Eric. You are the missing black Power Ranger. The only thing we know is black. And we know you missing.
right? Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. That's what we know. Can't nobody else call you that but us. Because we going to fight if somebody outside the fluffy nation call
Come
you
on.
something. Though they better address you as Mr. Vaughn, but they better not call you the Black Missing Power Ranger.
Come on.
Problem.
It's gonna be problems.
It's
Gonna
Okay.
gonna
be
be
problems.
problems. I'm
Oh
I'm
my
I'm sitting
goodness.
here soaking up today. I just I don't even know where y'all go. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I just lost you. I just lost the whole. How the heck I lose the whole screen?
We still see you and we hear you.
Okay, yeah. I just was responding to some messages for the magazine article.
Mr. Giga.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we glad that you could join us for a little bit on tonight. We're just talking about wrapping it up. And we know that can go many ways, but we
Oh,
was wrapping up 20. It's not 8:30 yet, so we got to thank you, son.
oh,
Um, we got we careful, we careful. Oh, we got Lady Hale in the house tonight. Welcome, beautiful.
Um,
How are you? Thank you for joining and popping in to be with us tonight as we wrap up 2024. We're just chilling, just talking. We're going to hit a few points on tonight and then let you go. We didn't want the year to end without being here, without showing our faces, and without thanking everyone. The Lady Hale is in the building. And we've got Paris Vaughn. What that say, Vaughn? You're gonna be our reader for tonight, like in church. And
she said,
read.
I gotta ask, do blondes have more fun?
Are you asking me? Yes, yes, we do. Indeed, indeed. Well, I'm gonna have. It's not 8:30 yet, but you know what? We go. What time? It's 7:30. We just gonna let it go left. I'm gonna have fun no matter what. I'm gonna make the color fun, but I would say yes. Blondes most definitely do have a lot
Are
more
you
fun.
implying to my hearing the picture?
Huh?
I'm asking the Power Rangers. He asking about my hair in the picture.
No, that was someone who in the
That was
chat.
a comment in the
Yeah,
chat.
comment in the chat.
Oh, okay. Because my hair actually was a blondish red, no, blondish orange in this picture. So you imagine it was a color fupa. Imagine having to go preach in the old Baptist church with like bright blonde, orange, and burgundy. No, it was black. No, it was blonde, orange. It was two shades of orange and two shades of blonde. And it was the dyes. That's what I was talking about. I was like, you can see that? Like, oh my God, I gotta change that picture.
Oh no, she was talking about my hair. That's what.
Amen. Okay.
It looks well. Thank you, Paris. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, you gotta mix it up. You gotta switch it up. Gotta set it off. Sometimes you gotta take it back a little bit. Now, I was super blonde at one point a long time ago. I might go back to that one day, but that's a story for another time. But
So that's for 8:30, huh?
that's that. I had to pause and catch myself. But yeah, that's for 8:30. That's for 8:30. The super blonde. But we do have more fun. We do have more fun. Um, but tonight we're talking about wrapping it up. We are talking about just sealing the year, not just the year, but a lot of times we're going through life and we leave so many things open ended. And thank you guys. I see that there are 12 of us who are viewing or showing. So I'm going to ask that those of you who are up in the silent section, in the expensive seats, if you want to come on down to the comments, say hello, let us greet you. I promise you it's safe down here. Nobody's going to hurt you. We got security. We always keep it tight and respectful down here. But I do appreciate all of you. And please like, subscribe, and share. And if you can only do one, hit that thumbs up button on us tonight. It's free 99 and we appreciate it. But we have had an amazing year here on Thursday nights. So I wanted to wrap it up just talking about the conclusion of the matter, how we need to put some things in perspective, figure out what we need to end, and so that we can have a new beginning. And we don't necessarily have to wait until um, the end of the year. Periodically throughout my year, I do take self inventory and I do stop to consider where I'm at. I do a self assessment. Like, do I still need to carry this with me? Do I still need to do these things? Do I need to let this be a priority? Just to make sure that I'm moving properly in my season and making the best use of my time. But I was saying to Vaughn and to our audience earlier that I don't carry grudges. I don't let things fester pretty much for more than 24 hours. I've learned that. I can't say that I was like that always. I don't know, guys, if you put in the chat, do y'all still hold grudges? How long does it take you to get over something or get over man? And I know that it's going to depend on what it is and what happened and all the parties involved. But do you stay mad for a long time? I would hope not. Because, anger is like, to me, it reminds me of cancer because it like leads to bitterness. It will make you, it eats away at you, So for me, I will only give something 24 hours. And at midnight, I'm done. It's over with. And I will do my best to move forward into a new day. I try to wake up with a different mindset. All right. The Lady Hale says, come on, Vaughn, what she says.
Nope, it's not healthy.
Okay, okay. That's one for a no.
It will make you sick.
Won't it though?
Hmm.
Do you understand how holding anger and frustration will make you sick? Yes, Sam.
Deal with it and move on.
And that is a good point too. We're gonna talk about that, dealing with it and moving on.
And amen.
Amen.
Mhm.
Yes, it is very unhealthy. Um, a lot of times when we hold on to anger and to bitterness, well, anger becomes bitterness and resentment, and it changes everything about you with everyone. You start treating people differently. People, if you want to say, kind of like innocent bystanders get hurt when we don't deal with some of the things that we've been dealing with and wrap it up, and get it out of our system however we need to. Do you agree with that, Vaughn and Dee? What y'all say?
Say it again. I'm sorry. What you said? Say it
I
again.
was saying, do you agree that holding resentment and grudges and things like that will make you sick? It will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. You hold on it cause a headache, cause you to not prosper or move on when it comes to, life. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Definitely. Some people they get real sick. So yeah. But I was never, thank God that I had a gift that I was able to move on, not let those things be a burden upon me. Um
Right.
and use search. I know some people use different techniques. I may read, may look at a movie or look at it.
Hmm.
Back in the day I used to look at the soap.
Oh Lord. That makes me the soaps got their own problems going on.
Yeah, I used to look at things or read or something like that. That used to help me, or talk to my mom, my dad, or people in the family, and different solutions they went through, and learn from that to help me move on.
I think those are good distractions, but I think also we have to be careful of our distractions, because distractions just delay the process. It actually
Hmm.
doesn't allow you to process through the process. It
Absolutely.
just delays it. Welcome to the platform, my mama. Y'all know her. Y'all love her. You see her. She's awesome in the person of Pastor Rosa. Hi, mommy. Welcome. Thank you for
Hey,
joining.
Hey, Pastor Doctor Mama Rosa.
Lord.
all those, all those people,
That's
right?
that's who you call when you want to snitch on Dog
Oh,
B.
here we go. Pache is in the comments too, so don't play. We already know. I ain't gonna say it no more because you know
Don't want to scare the coach. I ain't scared of Coach Pass. I snitch on her too, so ain't no
you
problem.
already know how it's going down. You already know. All right, let's see what else we got in the comments here. Yes, and Lady Hale said deal with it and move on.
Move
But
on.
that's a big problem. A lot of us don't want to pause to deal with the issue.
Right.
Um, and this is where what they call it now, ghosting and all that, takes place. We just disconnect. We just, instead of having a conversation a lot of times, or instead of confronting the issue sometimes, we don't deal with things properly. And I had to learn how to sit in stuff. When you're dealing with it, you got to sit in it. You can't be afraid to address it, to confront it. It is not easy. It is absolutely uncomfortable. I don't know anybody that really is comfortable with dealing with stuff. Like, nobody wants to. None of us like confrontation. You know, um, but I think dealing with it is really important, and we need to understand what dealing with it means. Um, and again, it just really means to confront, to address, to acknowledge, and to recognize whatever that issue is, so that you can move. You can move on either way, but I'd rather move on clear, open, and free than to move on with questions and doubts and being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? When you don't deal with stuff, it makes environments very uncomfortable. Yeah,
Yeah, I understand. Mm.
you know.
What technique do you suggest? Because some people just can't. When it comes to dealing with things, it's so much pain that they go through. It's hard, so they try to run from it.
Yeah,
So what techniques do
well,
you
I
suggest?
think it depends on what the situation.
Hmm. Right.
Well, I'm pretty straightforward when something. is really bothering me, it may take me a moment, or when something is just unaddressed, I don't like that feeling of things being unaddressed. I don't, it, that makes my anxiety kick up,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the way for me to bring peace about it is to have a conversation. I'd rather have the uncomfortable conversation. Get comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. It's all about communicating, which is something that we've talked about several times throughout the year. You know, everybody doesn't communicate the same way. Um, I was sharing on a podcast last year with one of my girlfriends, and I was saying no answer is an answer, and she's like, no, it's not, and I was like, no, no answer is that. That's a response. It may not be a response we like.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be a response that allows you to have further conversation, but when people are not responding, that in itself is a response. It speaks for itself. But for me, I have learned to have the uncomfortable conversations just so that everyone is clear. And that takes time. I'm not saying it's easy, it is not at all. But you have to own your truth and your feelings, because I believe in any relationship, a relationship is only as strong as the truth that it can withstand. So you have to be willing to sit down and talk through those tough spots. You have to be willing to be vulnerable, to be open, and to be transparent. So that's what works for me. Ladies, y'all want to add anything in what your process is? We got a few more comments I want to catch up to too. Anybody want to add anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Um, that it's better to face it, have that conversation, rather than to let it linger. And I think that's a good advice because I did just the opposite. And yes, holding those things in will make you sick. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I found that to be very, very true. As adults, I mean, you may not want to hurt someone's feelings, and you don't want yours to be hurt either. But as adults, the sooner we face a thing, the better off it is, because all you're gonna do is prolong it. Um,
Just
I
delaying
guess, for
the.
instance, if you're in a relationship and it's an intimate relationship, and you know that you can't function in this relationship any longer, and you might put it off, put off having that conversation, but it's best to have it when you know that, when you know it from the beginning. It's best to have that conversation as early as possible, because not only to have it that you could go your separate ways, but also to be able to try to work on whatever the problem is. You might be able to resolve every problem. Does not necessarily mean you have to divorce or break up,
Right.
but let's work on this instead of letting it get out of hand, get out of control, and then there's no resolve but to go in different directions.
Right. Right. No, that's good, Mom. And I love that. When you talked about not wanting to hurt someone's feelings. And one thing that I've learned in that, and a lot of us, we think that we're protecting, I think we've all done that. Well, I didn't say this because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, or I didn't do that because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, or I went along with this because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. And what I found is that the truth of the matter is, at the end of it, the person's feelings are still hurt.
Mhm.
So we're actually not saving each other the
Mhm.
hurt. We're not
Mhm.
escaping the person, the hurt from the person. And we're actually not even covering the person from being hurt. Um, you're prolonging it. We prolong it and we add to it. It becomes heavier or deeper, because a lot of times when it comes to like, well, why didn't you tell me? Or why didn't
Right.
you say? Or why can we talk? Because sometimes we do express in
Mhm.
part, and we're all hopeful. Sometimes, like you said, we can have a conversation to see if it's something that can be fixed, or if it's fixable. Everything is fixable. It's just, what is the fix?
Right.
Sometimes parting of the ways is the way that it gets fixed, you
Yeah.
know. But we have to deal and confront with it. So, thank you for that. Let me see. Come on,
Ho-
Born. You know,
Okay,
comment tonight.
no problem.
Oh,
Holding a grudge is bad for you. The other person is living their life.
Mhm.
now that is the truth. And that's
Mhm.
another reason I refuse to live. I refuse to hold a grudge. I call it, and I said this to my mother one day, being held emotionally hostage.
Right.
I
Yes.
refuse to be held emotionally hostage by someone else. I will not do it. Me holding
Yeah.
a grudge against you while you off living your best life, you ain't giving two thoughts or even one and a half or even a half about me. Who's being punished? You know, that other person is going on about their business. We have to find a way to recover, you know, and bounce back and get up and keep it pressing. So, yeah, that is true. What else?
All right. Okay. I used to hold a grudge like a fat lady holds a cake slice. Oh my goodness.
Don't talk about Fluffy Nation. Don't talk about Fluffy
Okay.
Nation.
Okay. Okay. I heard that. Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
good. Okay. But I have grown and learned to let it go because my peace is priceless. That's true. But that I just need to know, what did she let go? The cake? Or she kept it? I just need to know that. What did she let go? Did she let go of the cake? Or the grub, what level? I need to know that. What did she let go? Did she keep the piece of cake? Because I know I would have. I'd have kept that cake. I ain't let cake
Well,
go.
I would think that the grudge being likened to the cake, the cake and the grudge would be what gets let go because neither one
Okay,
is good for you.
I
You know,
got it.
that's what I would
I
think.
got it. Okay.
Um, neither one of them are good for you, and this is important. Again, we have to wrap things up in our own selves. You know, there's things, and it's not so much always the external relationships; it's the internal
Mhm.
relationship with yourself. Like, what within you do I need to, you know, come put an end on, bring it to its conclusion? You know, there's some things within my own self that I need to work on.
Right.
Going. What else we?
Uh, Still standing. Still said forgiveness is for me, not the other person. Definitely not healthy. Oh, I like that one.
That's
Forgiveness
true.
is for me, not the. I got that because you could grow. I can see the growth in that forgiving and
Yeah,
within
it sets you
yourself,
free.
right? And I can see the growth in that. That's a stern growth right there when you do that. Yeah.
That's a good.
Um.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
that's a good one.
Let's
Y'all
see.
pray for me. Praise. Paris Von Thomas said, "Y'all pray for me. I don't hold grudges, but I will dismiss you in a heartbeat." Uh,
Child.
I could see that because you don't want that person to add to your well being. So I can see because some people do have to dismiss themselves to grow and get over what that person has put them through. But I wonder, does she come to the point that will she go back? I mean, go back and be around that person after she has dismissed them. Should we go back? Or should we just dismiss and stay away from that person?
Well, I
Well,
think you have to put closure on it. You know, the best way.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, Don. The
no good.
best way is to, you have to put closure on it.
Hmm.
You have to.
Right.
You have to. I think the only way to really go on and be healthy
Uh huh. Hmm.
is to, like I said, have that conversation. Don't just walk away and leave the person guessing.
Right.
Or that's totally immature. That's not adult at all.
Right.
And yeah, you gotta not. I mean, you have to do it for yourself. You have to see that person that one more time. Talk to that person one more time for your own self, just to make sure you're good. I've really moved on with my life.
Right.
I my it's not to say that you're going to hate that person, or you shouldn't. If it's
Right.
over, it's over.
Hmm.
If it's you doing the dismissal or you being dismissed, truth is it's over. you know Best way to be in any relationship, I find, is that you're friends. If you're not friends with that person to start off with, then it's gonna go in a bad direction. But when you're
Mm,
friends with, when you're friends first, you say,
hmm.
well, okay, this didn't work out, or we weren't supposed to be, but at least, we're still friends, something about that person that you enjoy, something, conversation, fellowship, something. And so because the relationship didn't continue, does that mean that you can't still enjoy that in that person if you choose to, you
Right.
know? But yeah, I think you need to go back just for no other reason, just to know I'm really over this. This was really the right decision to make, and you know.
Oh yeah, cause that going back for closure because sometimes that could be a burden on you. That could be as sometimes, or I guess when you don't go back like you explained,
Mhm.
you're not actually completing wrapping it up. Uh, would that be a good one to say, a good word to say, or no?
Yeah,
I,
it's always going to be a question,
Right, right,
you know.
well, what I've learned about closure is this: that closure, you don't get closure from the other person.
right.
Closure comes from you.
Hmm.
You have to close that up. You have to be for your own self. You make those decisions. If you are waiting to get closure from another person, then you are waiting for them to set you free.
Mm.
Mm.
You've left yourself open for them to control your emotions and the narrative and be strung along. Closure comes from yourself. When you
Mhm.
decide, I'm no longer doing this,
Mhm.
I'm shutting this down here. I'm now going to separate, or I'm going to detach, or I'm doing what's best for me. I don't need your approval, and that's a lot of times with us with closure. We're looking for the approval of the other person or the why. How many times have we gone back to a person and they've given you an answer as to why something happened, but did that give you closure? No,
Mm.
because you're still struggling with the fact that what was is no more, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
So we have to come to terms within ourselves that this is done for me, or this is ended. Now, how am I going to wrap it up within myself? How am I going to tie those emotional knots for myself so that I'm not left still, hoping for something that's not going to happen again? You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense.
That's it. That's it. Like if I did, like let's just say, you might have did harm to the person,
Mhm.
and you found out, and dismissed the person, but you needed to go back to have closure. Now, when I'm saying I'm using closure, but it may not be as far as like what I think what you're saying. If that person don't accept it, that person may not accept it. We should not allow. Are you saying we should not allow that to affect us if the person doesn't accept, us wrapping it up as far as the closure on what happened before I dismissed the person?
Well, we're talking about a few things here. I think what you're referring to is more or less along the lines of apology and forgiveness versus
Hmm.
closure.
Mhm.
Again,
Well, when I'm saying closure, well, okay, because I'm basically putting them together because sometimes closure, I'm going back as closure because I found out, after I dismissed the person, the harm I might have done to the person.
right? But okay, but at
So,
that point, the harm that you've done to that person is already done. There is no, in a sense, you've already closed the matter because the damage is already done. So you can't
right,
go
but
back.
mhm,
No
yeah.
matter what you do, you can't go back to fix it per se. And this is how I feel. Um,
Hmm.
because my cutoff game is strong like Paris. It's like when I'm done, and that's it. And it's just like, it's what it is.
Hmm.
I said that on the Monday night show, and you got on me about that when I was saying, you were intentional about your pursuit of me. You were intentional in the relationship, and you were intentional,
Hmm.
when you decided to not speak or cut me off or whatever it was,
Hmm.
and then you want to come back and try to have the conversation. I forgot what our conversation was that night. But then I was saying, just in that, for me, it was like, well, then where was that? Where you didn't have the respect for me and how
Mhm.
to exit that you did when you had the entrance. So
Mhm.
when that exit came, I had to deal with my stuff on my own.
Mhm.
But when by the time you want to come back to apologize or try to make it right, I'm no longer that same person. So you're not going to get the same version of me.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
can come back and I'll hear you out. Well, that Monday night, I said I wouldn't even give you the time of day to listen because why listen now? The time for you to speak up and wanted me to listen was at the point you were making the decision on how to handle me. Um,
Mhm.
but we have to for me it's like again you can come back, we can have a conversation, but you would never get that same version of me that you got before, so
Mhm.
because I've already set closure for myself.
Mhm.
Again,
Mhm.
if I don't set closure for myself, then
Mhm.
that means that you have the power to pull me along and string me along and back and forth. And we can't allow people to tamper with our feelings and emotions in that way. We have to govern ourselves. We have to get control of ourselves. So I
Right.
think it's important that we understand that closure comes from you, and the coming back or continuing to deal with this person, I think, is a point of forgiveness and acceptance. And how do we move forward? If that helps.
That,
We got a few comments to get through.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Andy.
um, I was trying to figure out exactly what um was just happening. I think that, and I can speak from my own personal experience, I think it's a case by case
Mhm.
decision.
Yeah, there's
I
no black
don't,
and white.
I don't necessarily think that, because I know in my case, I had to go back because the crazy part was it
Mhm.
wasn't even my closure, it was
Mhm.
what confirmed my healing.
Mhm.
Um, I had to go back because I had time vested. And because I've evolved, I think sometimes getting answers is sometimes necessary. And when I say that, let me say that that's based also on your level of maturity.
Hmm.
Because I know for me, I wanted answers. I felt I deserved answers because I walked away. I left. I just decided that I got a phone call and I that was the last phone call I accepted, and I sent the text message like I'm done. Was 2 years later we came back in proximity, but it was for business. It wasn't the personal. But there were answers that I wanted and I felt that I deserved because of time vested. I didn't want the answers so much to go back. I wanted the answers to pretty much affirm some things that I had kind of already had been feeling and questioning it. And it pretty much was the seal on my healing. It was the sealing on the
Mhm.
reason why I left. It was accurate. It was the seal for me to not even be angry at that individual, and kind of work through the point like, yeah, I'm good. I forgive you. I'm not mad at you. Um, Thanks for answering it. Thanks for confirming that I'm not crazy. Because sometimes these things happen and we are left feeling like we have missed it, that we messed up, that there was something that we did wrong. And not saying that we were always 100% accurate and that we got it right, but the other party leaves us feeling some sense of inadequacy, because of the state of what it was while we were in it and then how it concluded. And
Hmm.
sometimes I think that it's important. And I also had 2 years to sit.
Right.
I had 2 years to sit with it, and I had time to reflect on what I had invested in the situation. I also had prayer time. Well, I didn't really have prayer time. I had me and God had some serious debates about it, which was easy for me because at one point, and here is what this is about grudges and forgiveness, accepting the role that I possibly played in that situation. And I think that when we talk about forgiveness and grudges, It is easy for us to point the finger, but do we have the maturity to accept maybe that there were some things that we did not do for ourselves as well for any other parties that were involved? And that's for me what the catalyst is. Like, yeah, he was a jerk with a capital J and a capital K and a, a long E. He was that. However, when I had time to reflect, there was some things I did not do, or there was some things, some obligations I could not meet. Does that make me bad? Does that make me the victim? In some cases, I was, but not in all. So I think that the consensus is that sometimes you have to know where you stand. You have to know exactly how you want to address it. And the grudges from me, I don't even know if I know. I know the unforgiveness, and like I said, that is a level of maturity. I literally just talked about this morning in a prayer room. That forgiveness requires a level of maturity that some people never get to.
That's true.
they,
That's
they
true.
never get to that point of saying, I get it, I understand. They're not in a place of maturity, especially those of us who are believers. And I said that some people need to be honest that they're not ready for that. They're not there yet. And that doesn't make you a bad person. That means that you just
Mm.
acknowledge there's some things that you're just not ready to do. You're not prepared to do the work for that. You're not prepared to show up as a better version for yourself. So I think again, I just think that the grudges, the forgiveness, and the closure, I think that in some cases they work simultaneously with each other, but I think in most cases they are definitely separate situations based on the individual and the situation.
I agree, and thank you for that share and that breakdown.
Mhm.
Because there's so many factors. Again, no two situations are the same, and we are not one voice, one sound here. And just to do a little reset for 2 seconds, thank you everyone for joining Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, and the Thursday Night Squad. We are here wrapping up this year, talking about wrapping things up and just what do we need to close? What do we need to take with us, and not just because it's the end of the year, but these are self-assessment points that we need to do periodically throughout the year. So I want to thank you all for tuning in, joining us. Just like conversation tonight. Like, subscribe, and share. Invite a friend. And we are grateful that we are here with Vaughn, the Invisible Man, Eric, aka the Black Ranger. We got Pastor Rosa, my mama, I'm her 404 in the house, and the one and only incomparable Dr. NZ Brown. And it's possible some more the Thursday Night Squad might pop up. You never know. You never know. But thank you for sharing that. All those things are very key points in how we need to proceed, that need to be present in how we wrap things up. It doesn't mean that you will use all of them at the same time or in every situation, but you got to pick what you need from those things and apply it to the situation, that it's applicable to. So thank you for that share, um, Dr. ND. Come on, Vaughn, help me get
Mhm.
through the comments.
Okay, Bravo with Sheila Network says that explains a lot. Mr. Vaughn, Coach P here.
That's Coach P talking to you.
That's Coach P. But
Oh, Coach P, stop by. I take her. Don't worry, I take care of
Oh,
her on Monday. Definitely take care of her on
you're
Monday.
not ready. Go
can
back.
I ask a question?
Hold
Mhm.
on 1 second, mommy. If you could just let me
Mhm.
get through the comments and then I'll come right to your question.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Vaughn.
Lady Hale, Miss Lady Hale says
Mhm.
that's good, Dawn. It delays the process.
It does. It does. Okay, what else we got here?
Um, Bravo with Sheila, Pastor Bravo with Sheila says, sorry, still standing. Didn't mean to delete your message. Please write your comment again.
Okay. All right.
Paris Von Thomas says, hey, beautiful mama.
So,
She talk about you. She talk about you,
she's talking
Pastor.
about mom. She's talking about mom. I was stealing her compliment.
Oh, okay. Here we go, Coach P. Yeah, that's right. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. Lady Hale said true. with a smile.
Okay.
Still standing said, which comment?
Okay. They'll figure it out. Okay.
And Pastor Sheila Bible said, instead of being an adult,
Mm,
Coach C, she
mm.
need to stop. She really need to stop. I
She
know
was
what she
talking
wants.
about the conversation. She want to talk about you. She want to talk about you.
She need to stop that. Still standing. I used to hold a grudge. Now who? Okay, that's okay.
Those are the older comments that you read already.
I just want to get through
Oh,
them.
okay. Evening, Mama
Listen,
Rosa. Oh yeah.
good evening and good evening. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
No, that's an old one. That's the one with the sliced cake. You want to read that
Okay,
again?
got you. All right. Where we at?
Oh, I think it's best to have a crucial conversation when both parties are able to hear and receive. Coach Pat. Now that's true. That's a strong. That's wisdom right there. That's strong. If
Mhm.
both of them are able, sometimes one person can be somewhere else, and the other person sometimes.
And that's true. And again, we're all speaking from our space of experience. This is not counseling. This is conversation.
Right.
But everyone's voice resonates with someone else. It is not, we are not one voice, one sound. We are a melodious group of different notes that come together, to paint to make a wonderful symphony in conversation.
Right.
So I can understand that. And I have to admit, I'm not always in that space where and maybe that's something I have to work on. If that's how I want to show up. Because I'm not always, when I've gone through what I've gone through already, um, and I'm on the other side of my healing, for me, I don't really want to have a conversation at that point because it doesn't help me. It actually, and this is just for me, for Dawn. Um, Depending on where I'm at, it may be something that might take me back to where I was. So I have to be very careful in the choices that I make in actually executing this action that Coach is talking about. And she makes a very good point. And this is a place of communication that I don't have to work on. Being open to hearing beyond the place that I don't want to hear anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but again, I have to do what's best for me to protect and guard my heart. And I may not always be in that place where at this point, have we had the conversation a month ago, 2 weeks ago, 6 years ago, then it would have been different. But now that I've had to go through the struggle of healing on my own, putting answers to the questions on my own, those kind of things, at that point for me, it's like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. To me, it's irrelevant at that point because I've already worked through it. So there's nothing more that you're going to say that's going to make it any better for me, and I don't want to go back. But that's a very good point, and I'm making note of that for myself because I'm going to try to do better on that in the upcoming year. Let's see what else we got.
Okay. Look. Paris Von Thomas says, "Look at my name on Mama's shirt."
Right.
Oh,
It
she has
is.
heart on
Paris. It is.
Oh, okay.
My shirt says Paris.
her.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, we got
Um,
Brother Greg.
Bishop
Go ahead.
Bishop Bloomfield. Bishop said, "Good evening, Don B and guests. Happy holidays."
Happy holidays, brethren. Thank you for joining on tonight. It's good to see you. What else we got? We almost, yeah.
This Pastor Prabhu says sometimes the dismissal is the closer depending on the situation.
True, true. And that, again, for me, that's like I said when we were on Monday nights. Like at that point, I'm done. And it's not. I give enough space. But at the point when I'm done and I put the closure and we're dismissed now, like there ain't nothing else that you can say to me that's gonna make a difference. And then I have to tell myself, my attitude might be like, why are we talking about this? Why are we like, what's the point of, because again, you'll never get that version of me again. You know, do you want to like reintroduce ourselves? You want to, because that's what we'd have to do, start fresh. Like, hi, I'm Dawn. How are you? Sometimes the dismissal is the closure. Sometimes break is the closure. And sometimes, you do have to separate to begin again sometimes. So thank you for that, coach. Um,
Still Standing says sometimes no explanation is the best explanation. That's your closure, and you have to be okay with the not getting the answer you seek. Yeah, I
mhm.
think that's a. I think that's a good one. But I would like to know to expound on. Sometimes the explanation is the best, or sometimes no explanation is the best explanation. I guess that when will you? Because I think you said as far as some people don't respond, they may be quiet, and sometimes when you don't respond, it's them responding. So how do you get the understanding of that? How do you determine when it's time not to have no explanation? Because sometimes the person may
I,
need that.
I don't think there's ever a time that no explanation of any kind is necessary when you're
Hmm.
dealing with people.
Hmm.
You may not get an explanation, but I don't really believe that there's no time that
Hmm.
you need to tell me something.
Right.
It's over. You don't have to tell me why, but tell me it's over. Don't, keep a person wondering.
Hmm.
You're not present, and so, because some people will wait
Right.
forever. Um,
Hmm.
and not meaning to put anybody's business on the street, but my my
And
um
put nobody's business on the street.
okay, uh, uh, a father left home and said he was going to buy a loaf of bread and and never came back.
Story, y'all. It's a true story.
No,
She already put it on
this
the
is not. It's
street.
not our
You
story.
talking about my daddy.
It's a story. It's a story in the family,
Right.
Right.
and never came back. And I was like, what? But you have a wife and you have children. How do
Hmm.
you just walk away and not come back? I mean, for lack of a better term, I think that's really the coward way out. But you leave people hanging. But my question that I wanted to ask and kind of leads into all of that is, um, um, do we have a choice in forgiveness? I mean, because forgiveness is not really about the other person. Forgiveness is really about you. And the longer you are holding these bad feelings and all that negativity, and that's a spirit, that's energy that you're holding on, and it's tearing you down because you're holding all this negativity and this anger and all that inside because of something that someone else did. You're giving that other person that control in your life. I heard a story about a woman uh, went to her death because she absolutely refused to forgive her husband who had moved on with his life and
Hmm.
he was happy, and she died holding that unforgiveness. So I'm asking, is it really, do we really have a choice? It's not necessarily a spiritual question, it's a human question. Do you really have a choice? I mean, we make
Yeah.
the decision. We make the decision in the beginning. In
Hmm.
the beginning, when that person is saying to you they no longer want to be in this relationship, I think one of the questions, one of the thoughts that come up, or maybe I'm just odd, one of the questions that just come up is, so do I just go full-blooded hatred on you, or what do I do? I think the sooner we realize, yes, it's over, and the sooner we realize and make that decision that I'm going to have to go on with my life, I'm going to have to do resolve. What am I going to do? When my husband walked away that Christmas, which would have been that first Christmas, what normally happened was we all decorated the tree. I think he helped. Did he help doing? I can't remember.
Mhm.
But I think we all decorated the tree. And so when it was Christmas and everybody was standing around, like I said, listen, take the tree out. So we're a family of five. Let's decorate the tree. It's Christmas. And we moved, it was a decision. Was there pain? Yes. But you have to make a decision right then and there. What am I going to do? We're going to live. We're going to be a family of five.
Of course, yeah, but you always have a choice. There's always a choice because, like you said, and thank you for that share, mommy. And that is a true story, y'all. I do, and I remember that clearly. And we kind of all stood around in that moment because my father was the one who would spearhead the pulling out of the tree and the decorating this and that. He was the on his command we went. So we were all like, well, what do we do now? No one knew what to do. We would do what to do when orders were given. But you do have a choice, because like you said also in the story you shared, the person chose to hold on to what was hurting them to the point that it was unto their demise. That happens to us when we emotionally, if it doesn't happen physically, you have to decide for yourself, and the time. You may have people who come and say to you, like, you've been in this too long, like you've been down here too long, like, you got to find, you got to get up from here, just encouraging you. But I think, again, we have to get to a point of creating your own closure, deciding for yourself when enough is enough. Sometimes no answer is the answer. Sometimes no response is the response. When people change how they handle you, you need to change how you respond to them. You need to change how you deal with them, how you address them. What kind of access do you give to them? How much are you willing to lend an ear to what they have to say? Are you going to give them the opportunity to say anything if they want to say anything? When they do decide to say something, are you going to be receptive? What does that look like? It's easier said than done. And sometimes we don't know how we're going to respond until we're in that situation, but I think that we have to, for me, again, set your own closure. Decide how, when, I'm not going to sit in this like this anymore.
Right.
If you're not willing to have the conversation, or if you're not willing to speak, to share or whatever, to address it, then we can't stay in this limbo. We got to wrap it up one way or another. Something has to change so that we can get off this hamster wheel. So I think we do have choices when it comes to the forgiveness. It's up to
It's
us
our choices broaden. And sometimes sometimes your choices, what you choose, can be broadened or it can be narrow.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
and then sometimes, do you believe in your choices that you're making? You want to choose this, but do you believe in it? Do you understand it? Or can you take what you have choose and blossom from it? Do your heart say, or is your heart saying, I'm going to choose this, but I don't think I'm going to prosper because I think I
But that's
need.
where the closure comes in at.
Okay,
That's where the
okay,
need for closure comes in when you're not really sure. Did I make
okay.
the right decisions? Some people, I know a young lady divorced her husband.
Hmm.
I mean, it was warranted, but she still loved him.
Okay.
And people convinced her to go ahead and divorce him.
Uh-huh.
It might have been able to have been worked out,
Right.
but you would never know, because but later on, she, years later, she came back and she said, but I loved him,
Hmm.
and she held other people accountable
Right.
for, or responsible for her making that decision to divorce him. And so in that situation,
Hmm.
when you're not sure, you
Hmm.
have to put closure. You do have to go back.
Hmm.
And,
You have to decide that spot, for yourself. I don't think we can allow other people to determine that for us because you have to have peace with your decision.
mhm.
I know for me, I make peace with my decisions and it may be painful to me. I don't know what this outcome is going to be, but this is the choice that I made for myself today. And then I have to sit in it, whatever it is. I have to take the consequences of, my actions, good, bad, or indifferent, no matter which side of the coin I'm on. When I choose in action, I have to be prepared to take the response and the aftermath of what comes with it. And that's for all of us, you know, but we can't all stay still. We can't stay stagnant. We've
Right.
got to move on. You can't be sitting there waiting,
Mhm.
or you can't keep someone sitting there waiting in
Mhm.
limbo while you go off and live your life and
Right.
just, like, that's not cool. That's not fair.
Mhm. Mhm.
That is not okay for us to do, and especially not to treat, people that you care about that way.
Right.
We shouldn't treat people that way, nor should we allow ourselves to be treated that way. So we have to come to a point of closure, deciding, like, because if I allow you to continue to stay in this way,
Mhm.
then you're going to ride it out. Or if you allow me to stay, if I'm the one doing it, if you allow me to stay in this state, I'm going to keep doing it until, you know, I get the best of both worlds. So this
Right.
is what I say: we have to determine our own closure. You have to take control of your own closure.
Mhm.
What's this comment, Vaughn?
Um, a person's behavior speaks volumes. So I watch what you do and not what you say. That's my line of thought, Vaughn. I could see that. I would like to know her thoughts as far as, because, like she said, behavior speaks volumes, but you can assess behavior and interpret it one way, but that's not what that person is behavior is doing. So I would like to know, what have she ever interpreted a behavior one way and it wasn't that way, and if it was, how did she go by um trying to, I guess, correct it, or yeah, correct it. I guess I use that word.
Well, partner, that's your question. I'm thinking you guys like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. We are having a mellow conversation about wrapping it up, just getting ourselves set. We know, to embark on whatever our now is. Um, I don't believe in regrets. I don't. I only believe
Mhm.
in lessons learned. Um, and that way I'm able to take whatever it was, take the lesson and move forward with the information that I need. I do believe I will hear what you say, but I do watch what you do,
Mhm.
because your words only have weight when you walk them out.
Mhm.
Otherwise you just talking. You
So you
just.
wait until that behavior. Do you wait until you see the behavior and the words come together as one, or is that what you waited for? Or, and if it doesn't come together, which one do you which one is you assess and you get behind? Do you get behind when they not in line? Do you
Mhm.
say, well, I'm gonna go forward with the behavior and not with the words, or I may go with the words and not the behavior? Which one
Yeah.
do you choose?
Mhm.
For me, I'm gonna watch what you do. I go with what you do above what you say, because you can say
Okay,
anything. Your words is what we intend. Your
right.
actions are actually what we do. What you do.
Okay.
Your words again have weight when you walk them out. When your walk matches
Mm.
your words. Like, I don't make promises I can't keep,
Right.
because I want my word to be good. I want you to know that when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to
Mhm.
do it. If I say that I can't do this, then I can't do it. If I say I can't do it now, if I say I'm going to be there, then I'm going to be there,
Mhm.
because that builds up to the trust. But if you're saying it, but
Mhm.
your actions don't support your words, then your words have no weight. They have no validity, and that's to me. What about you, ND? What do you say? What side do you stand on? Is she missing?
No, I'm here. I just was writing some notes on some things, and you said, well, the answers. I think that sometimes we get the answers in the midst of it. When we know that things are taking a turn left, the answers
Mhm.
pretty much are
Mm.
inevitable. So, and I can say that there's a gentleman that I met, and just based on the last 5 conversations, like, yeah, I don't need to make another phone call. I don't need to say I'm no longer interested, because just based on the conversations leading up to our last conversation, I said, you know what? My response in the conversation is, I get it. It all makes sense to me now. And that was just based on the trajectory of a conversation. I knew that there was no point in me wasting my time having any more conversations because the things were being spoken along the way. So sometimes the answers are usually right there. We as human nature, we want an answer. We want a definitive answer that this is finished and that it's over, and that we can then go on whatever that rampage is of whether it's bashing, or it's whatever our emotional state is. We as human nature, we need that. But I think that as you grow and you evolve, then maybe it has come with the age that I'm at. I already know there's some answers I don't need the answers to, because it's been evident. I
Right.
maybe didn't want to accept the realities of what it was being presented, because I was hoping against hope that it wasn't. But the
Yeah.
truth is, answer is there. We just usually don't want to necessarily pay attention. And I think the other one is, I believe that men are motivated. It depends on the man. It's like a whole different set of dynamics determines how the man's response, and um, if he feels, um, how he feels and how he handles. I've met some men who are friends of mine who have been very vocal about it. Then I've met other ones who have just resorted to living a lifestyle that affirms that they just don't know how to heal, and they don't deal with rejection very well. So their behavior is, well, let me just go ahead and I just won't let somebody else get to me. I'll get to them before I get to them. So I think, again, everything also depends on the individual and how they respond, and I think of what it is that you're trying to get. And I think that as we go through life and we start to deal with things, I think our response and how we show up determines how we proceed forward in our healing, and how we engage, and we become more cognizant of things, because we don't want to be repeat offenders, but we also don't want people to be repeat offenders to us. So we start paying attention to behaviors. We start being paying attention to language. We start being attentive to hidden languages. We start being attentive to moods, and how body language. We become very attentive to that, because I know for me, I don't need to wait. Whereas that I would give somebody, months and weeks and maybe years. I now like just give you a couple of milliseconds. It's not because I'm impatient. And I give you the benefit of the doubt because maybe I caught you on a bad day, because that's possible.
Hmm.
But when I see some level of consistency, I try to escape, because I don't want to necessarily have to go through the process of the forgiveness I don't want to do that anymore. Because I've learned, and when you learn, you show up better for yourself, and then there's a difference of how others show up for you.
No, that's good. That's good. And I agree. Um, what stuck out to me in your share was really about um our hope of hope. Our hope of hoping, and giving the person time. We're waiting and looking to see that the person we hope they are would emerge. And sometimes we stay, too long where you're saying one thing, but you're doing another. And it may not be that our perception or our hope of who we are showing up as, or even who the person might be showing up as, that may not be who they are today. Doesn't mean that they'll never get there, but maybe it's just not the timing. So we have to also, I think, take that into consideration. And how long do you sit around and be hopeful and wait for someone to be who they are, or how long do you expect someone to sit around and wait for me to show up and being this person, that I say I am, but my actions speak differently.
Can I
I think,
just say that? I'm sorry. The one thing that when you said that, the last thing I meant to say is, being able to enter into a space and be able to have difficult conversations in the
absolutely.
inceptions. And I think that maybe because of all that I've seen, when I mentor, conversations I'm having, the things that I'm witnessing in our culture, the things that I'm witnessing in conversations. I think that we are so busy trying to deal, and here's the fluffy nation that comes in, that where you wanna get all of the stuff that goes along with the fluffiness, and you want all of the good feelings and the tickles and the giggles and all of that stuff in the beginning, that we are afraid to have the conversations in the beginning that would help us establish a momentum of whether or not we are compatible, or if it's something I want to engage in. Do I want to engage in something? So again, I met somebody, he has a son, and I had to ask myself a question, because my children are grown. Do I
Mhm.
want to engage with a man who has kids, that has a child that's still at home because he's a single dad? And I use that as an example when it comes to us having these conversations that might lead to us having a grudge, that might lead to us of unforgiveness, of us having a conversation in the beginning, or at least at some point, to understand if we want to invest the time emotionally, mentally, and spiritually into this individual, to see if it's worth even the journey to get to where we think we can get to, because we're so busy on the fluffiness in the
Mhm.
beginning that we don't get to the uncomfortable chair. We just want to stay in the fluffiness. So I wanted to just say that.
No, that was good. Thank you for sharing that. It's true. It is very, very true. And that just leads me to the thought, and I'll just leave it at this: is I don't want to be a test dummy for your relationship. I don't. This is not a sample. You know, let me see if this is what I like. No, I need you to know and be committed to who you are. But it also gives us the space. Like you said, in the beginning, you knew at a certain point, after whatever point it was, that you were not going to have another conversation. You know, so we have to know our limits. We have to know what our cutoff points are. And when we need to wrap it up now, like put that closure on that there, and say, no, we're not gonna, like, this for me is just not leading, into that other kind of space. Paris, I'm gonna come back to your question because that's really good. But I just want to get through the comments,
Mhm.
and then
When
we can go ahead, Vaughn.
when they stop communicating, that's them letting you know it's over. That's the point when you need to begin your healing process, despite the closure you want to you want or how you feel.
That is true. That is
Yeah,
true.
that-
When
yeah.
one thing changes, everything changes. That's the only one said to me. And it's true. Once they stop communicating, or once you stop communicating, um, it's the sign that, whatever this is over. Now, the thing about it is, um, it's important that you have the conversations, you
Mhm.
know and again, make the breaks clear, or make the intentions clear, just so that people know and everybody can go about their way. Because as mom was saying, you can exit a relationship and still remain entering into a friendship. You don't have to. I'm in a state in my life where it's just like, it's not. I don't want to do either or. It's
Mhm.
all or nothing. Like, the people in my life, like, okay, dynamics change, but we don't have to be this. We can be friends. I'm willing to be that for you. But if being my friend for you is too much, then that's your choice. And I wish you well, and that's cool too. I'm not good with that. Ain't no love lost, carry on. Godspeed, see you when not, no, nothing. But you do have to take heed to not even the signs, to the clear actions, and then you make the adjustments for yourself. Sometimes you might have to initiate, a conversation, or you let it be and you let it ride. It's whatever works for you. The type, you stop talking to me. If I know I didn't do anything wrong, I'm not going to chase you. I'm going to give you your space. When you feel like talking, you will. When you don't, if you don't, then there's nothing I can do about that. But if I don't have a clear conscience about it, you know, um, and if I feel like I did something wrong, I will definitely reach out and clear the air. So we can't just be one-sided, you know, because we're not always the victim. Sometimes, so to speak, sometimes we are the initiator. Sometimes we're the one that's wrong. So that's a very good point, Coach, that, you know, when they stop communicating, you know, it's clear sign, and you need to start your healing journey, figure out how you're going to disengage from there. And that's really good. Um,
Coach need to stop playing, talking about communication. She cut people off. Both of y'all just cut the person off. Hey,
First of all, for me to cut you off, do you know what kind of how far you got to go before?
Can I tell? Can I tell?
Please do, Mom. Please tell them no.
Listen, this girl stays on the ship long after the captain is gone. Okay,
Absolutely.
she's the last one on the ship. She put all the letters in long term.
Oh, okay. So see, yeah, I can believe that because I see where her, I can see where her heart is. But Coach, you know I don't know.
I do. I tell you, listen, I stay longer than I should all of the time. You know,
Right.
because I'm hopeful, and I don't believe on giving up on a person. And if I commit to you and I say I got you and I'm your friend, I'm gonna be there for you and whatnot. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I believe
So even when it's detrimental to me, even when you're not showing up for me, even when you're not reciprocating those things, I will still show up. And I don't do it at that point with any strings attached. I'm not trying to, you know, but that's just how I'm built and I'm wired. I don't know how else to be, but I do. I stay way longer than I should most of the time. But that's something that I'm learning to correct. I've gotten better with it, but yeah, no. So that's why
you break out the needle and thread, because you got needle and thread coming out, and then Coach got the wrap and the boxing gloves. Yeah,
listen, we're all inclusive here. Okay, we got it all covered.
Okay.
No, she get ready to wrap it up.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I'm right. Send it with a nice package. Because I got to feel you good.
That's what's getting ready to happen.
Make sure you put your parting gift. That's why. I don't want you to go back out into the world broken. I don't want you to go out there hurting. I want you to be able to go out there healed and whole so that you don't end up in this situation no more. Let me be the last that something happens. Like, you know, but that's why for me, that's why my cutoff game is so strong, because I have stayed until the bitter end, you know. So at that point, I'm like, well, when I'm done, I'm done. Ain't nothing else to do. Like, you made your choice. So there that is. What's this? The coach says, cry through it.
Coach said, cry through it, or whatever you process looks like. See, look.
Right. Sometimes you got to, but that's a part of wrapping it up, whatever it is. This is really about doing, I feel like it's like self-preservation. At a point you have to, and it's not just in relationship. I mean, the world is relationships, whether it's personal, business, spiritual, whatever, but you have to bring things to a close or you'll never be able to move forward to what's next for you. You know, if the caterpillar doesn't die in that cocoon, it will never emerge as that beautiful butterfly. You know, I've learned firsthand. It has come to life in my life how God will give you beauty for your ashes. You know, how He bottles up every tear that you cry, and then He uses that to water a garden that brings forth something even more beautiful. But if you stay stuck in that space with things just lingering and hanging, you'll never get to the beauty, you know. So that's just what I say. But go ahead, read the next comment. We got a few.
Still standing said, no, my interpretation has been spot on. The behavior was saying he was done and was with someone else. All things confirm that. So it seemed like to me it was something that he was given within his behavior on a consistent basis that confirmed what he was doing. I believe that's what she's saying.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you're giving a person a certain amount of attention or certain amount of communication, when so you know how much attention or communication or presence a person needs, right?
Right.
When they have it, whether it's you or that person, when that starts to change, it is not likely that that space goes empty, because then there's a void. And because we always need
Mm-hmm.
fulfillment,
Mm-hmm.
then that means something else is taking the place of this. You've exchanged our time for something else. You've exchanged our intimacy and communication or whatever for someone else. Something else is feeding you, feeding that void. So, because that's how we're built, we're wired, and if
Right.
we do separate that void, if you
Mm-hmm.
just need space, that void is only for a little bit of time.
Right.
It's not for a really long. At some point, you're going to fill that space with something. You know,
What's a
yeah.
real what's a real long time you saying? What's a real long time look like in your
It depends. It depends on the person and the situation. Everybody's timing is different. For
okay.
somebody, it could be subtle things over a 2 month period. For others, it could be something subtle over 6 months. For somebody else, it could be a quick change in 2 weeks. But it depends on what that is. But I'm just saying, when you know the amount of engagement
Right.
that you and your person have or require with each other, and that changes, that leaves a void. If I'm used to talking to you every day and then we don't talk every day, something's missing. But then you
Right.
start looking for something else to fill that void. I'm only gonna go but so long not talking to you.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So then that means that if you can still go that long without talking, there's something else that you put in that place, because
Mm-hmm.
you still have that need for connection. And
Right.
that need for connection is going to be filled. It may be another person, it could be other things or whatever, but still, that this is
You're
as
absolutely
each
here.
other. So,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
so that's what that is.
There was no misunderstanding. The signs were evident. I turned a blind eye for a while, but the reality of but the reality of it smacked me dead on the face. Oh wow. Oh wow.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
so okay.
Because
So
when the
so
truth comes to the light, right? You don't want you. No one wants to be right about what they're feeling when they're feeling that. You
but I
know,
would like to know how long did she, because she seen it. So how long, that's a good, how long did she wait until the smack come? Should we wait until we get smacked, or should we determine not to get smacked?
that
Well,
And
it's when you see it. It's
I think the timing is
it's
different, because we can assume
right.
something
uh-huh.
without knowing it as fact. And
Right.
so I think at that point, when you assume or you believe something or you are suspecting something, that is the time where you start to, you have to put a little space to guard yourself until you find out. But what I can't, I don't think we can put like a definitive amount of time on it, because each situation is different. I'm sorry, mommy, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think it's you know, okay, let's put it this way. You're
Mm-hmm.
married to someone, or
Mm-hmm.
you're in a committed relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That means intimacy is in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So when that person no longer touches you in that sense physically, touches
Mm-hmm.
you in that, when that person no longer responds to you from their heart
Mm-hmm.
in the way that they did when you guys were building your relationship, when it's no
Mm-hmm.
longer building and you feel that absence, or you begin to feel a change, and it's not that you're building, but it's something you already know, which is what she's saying. It's not about a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
It's about when something is changing
Okay.
and you don't address it, you know and be like, hey, let's have a conversation. Is there something you need to tell me? Or
Mm-hmm.
and if your relationship um if your relationship cannot stand the truth, then you really did not have a relationship. You were wasting your time, and the other person's wasting theirs and wasting yours at the same time. But we have to be honest with ourselves. And I think as women, we tend to say, well, no, that's not really what it is. We tend to, want to be defensive or whatever the case may be. Come on, face reality. Reality is you're not there for me like you were. And where we should be going forward, One of us is going backwards, and the other one is the other one is in a place of waiting. The question is, how long do you wait, knowing that there is a change and knowing that the change is not um is taking away, like you're just not here, you know, for me, it's and it's not even about that other person, really. It's about my needs not being met. How long do you go without your needs being met?
Yeah, that's the yeah, that's the thing right there. Like you said, how long do you go? And that's the core right there. That's the
Mm-hmm.
core that I'm trying to get a full understanding, because like you said, a change has came. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what change has come? Is it because the person is with someone else, or a person? It could be health reasons, or it could be something a person is dealing with. Would that determine on your length of time when it comes to putting it up with it?
Of course. Well, I
I
say of
think
course. I
so.
think it would, because there's some things that are reasonable. Me hanging in there with you through a health issue is one thing versus me hanging in there with you while you are engaging and entertaining someone else. That, like,
Mhm.
there's zero
How that's going to turn out.
right. There's zero tolerance there. I can tell you how that's going to turn out.
But
If you ever got to choose between me and her, choose her. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Right.
I-
Let me pack your stuff so I can help her along the way. I'm gonna wash your stuff up,
right.
put it in the bag, pack it
I
up,
ain't
because I want
watching
you to
nothing.
leave. I don't want you to embarrass me when
right,
you
but
Right.
leave. So I
I ain't
want to set
watching nothing.
you up.
I'm not an option. I'm not an option.
Watching
Just to let
nothing. They
you know,
take you the way you are.
right. Listen, go
That's
on
what you
with your
do to
party
go,
gifts.
Right.
Listen, when she wanted him, she
Right.
took him just the way he left.
Listen, so but if it comes to health or other reasons, you can hang in there with a person who's going through something, but you're going through something, even in going through something, you still have to stay engaged and connected, because if I'm hanging with you through you going through something, you do not
Mhm.
reward that loyalty with disrespect and abandonment. you know um
Yeah.
you reward that loyalty with keeping that communication, having that respect in that regard. So whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's through health, whether it's through just the weight of life, whatever those things are, and I think that you have to personally consider what is your threshold and what is your capacity outside of
Mhm.
those extreme circumstances. Like I said, health is unpredictable. But if I'm with you, guess what? That's what I signed up for. I didn't
Mhm.
sign up for the good time. I actually signed up to say, hey, I don't want you to ever go through another bad day by yourself. I'm here to go through it with you to make sure you come out on the other side. I'm not necessarily signing up for all the beautiful things that you are, which is wonderful. And don't get me wrong, and I hope you're hearing it in the spirit in which it's given. I'm not canceling out those things. Yes, we all want amazing people, but we also have to realize that in relationship, we are signing up to ride it out with a person, not just through the good, but through the bad, through the uncomfortable, through the unfavorable. So we have to be mindful of those ebbs and flows that are going to come. And,
Mhm.
but make sure that when you're going through that, if you're not, like, if it's not, like I said, the extreme circumstances, then
Mhm.
you have to decide how much time can you afford to give a person to stay in the state before you make a decision about, what's good for you. We all have to come to the conclusions of the matter for ourselves. Again, whether it be in relationship, whether it be in business, whether it be in ministry, whatever it is, how long do we stay where we're at before we decide we're going to move forward and how we're moving forward? Because we're going to move forward with or without you. What we have to get past the point of staying stuck and quitting, So
Right.
as we wrap up this year, and we're wrapping up because I'm excited about what's coming, 2025. I don't know why I'm so excited, but I am, and it doesn't even matter, you know, and they're just things in life that we have to bring an end to so that new things can begin. Some things we bring it into that we can still take with us. Um, but we carrying them along as a memorial, if you would, you know. But I pray no one ever stays stuck, you know, uh, in that space of indecision. You know, be strong enough to make the choice of your own to do what's good for you, you know, at any time in any space so that you can move forward. You know, never be held hostage to someone else. Never let someone hold your emotions hostage.
But like you
That's
said, that could be easy. Like you said, Don B, that could be easy said and done because some people, easy said and done because what that depends on the person and what they've been through and what they've learned and what and how
hmm
they deal with situations because a burden can lay heavy on some people as not as much on other people. And some
yeah.
people are not able to, they would need to speak to someone like people in the chat and people on the panel who has went through it. But what would be the first thing that you would tell a person that they can see they can see it, they pass assumption, and it seems like they seen it clearly, but it's just hard to move on, especially when you're with a person for years and you seem like this person that you with is your best friend. It's hard to leave a best friend.
Been there and done that. And honestly, you know what, that's a good way to kind of bring us to a wrapped up close in a sense. So I'm gonna let that question be, let Indy go first, and then Mom can answer, and then I'll answer after that. My answer is short. So um
So, one of the things that I think that is key is that before we could get to this point, we've gotten to a point of caring and love. Whether it's we love a person or we're in love with a person, and love is a very powerful thing. And I think that I don't necessarily think that there's a particular time frame for a person to say when they had had enough. It's just like any level of in an abusive relationship. We can go in and try to rescue a person, but it's only when the person makes up their mind that they are tired of being tired is when they decide to move on. And sometimes people never get to that point. They stay. And I'm sure that we all have witnessed people who have been in dysfunctional situations that we have witnessed ourselves up close and personal. And we, as women and men, would have been like, that wouldn't have been me because they would have been 6 feet under. They would have been, but there's something psychologically and emotionally that's deeper than what we see for that person to be engaged and in that space. So I think that we have to be a support system to them. And sometimes when they see love different, that sometimes gives one the courage and the strength to say that there's more to this than where I'm currently sitting. And I think I can move on. I think I can gauge. I think I can find my voice. And we have to be willing to ride this thing out with them without judgment, without any level of pain or discord. And sometimes it might be painful. And sometimes you may get to a point where you say to them, you know what, I love you, but I can't sit in this anymore. And when they see that the support that they had in it is no longer there, sometimes reality sets in, and that is exactly what they need to get what they need to get to move on with their lives. So I think that the dynamics, again, all depend on the people, the situation, and the circumstances. I don't think that there's just one definitive answer. I think each case is each case has its own diagnosis, its own prescription, and its own resolution of healing, deliverance, change. So I think that it is a case by case.
Hmm.
that's good. Thank you for
Yep.
that share. Come on, Mom, how would you answer that question? What would you tell them?
Well, for me, um, when I'm in a relationship with my children, friends, whoever, I love, I'm a loving person. So I'm giving you love. The moment you're not returning that love, I'm out because that's what I'm in it for. I'm giving you, I want the love in return. I'm not settling um, because I think what I'm giving you is pure. What I think that I'm giving you, you're growing from what I'm giving you. I want to grow too. So at the point that you are not giving me and I'm not able to develop, I'm not able to grow, I'm not able to be challenged to grow, we're not communicating, then to me that's when I'm out because we're not growing together and I'm not going to develop you for somebody else. It's just not, it's not gonna happen.
Let her do her own work. Right. Thank you for that
Homework,
share,
wash your
Mom.
own laundry.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Vaughn, do you want to answer that question, or you want me to answer and then you
Yeah, go ahead.
answer?
No, I want you to answer because I'm thinking about getting some needle and thread and some boxing gloves. That's what I was. Now
We've
go
had
ahead.
that talk. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. Um, see, now you get okay. Cut it out. Now,
Yeah,
why?
go ahead.
My answer it brought me to the title of a book that we wrote with Harlem Girls, and it's the one book that I really passionately wanted to write and did not, and ended up not being able to because I was moving at the time. But in the simple answer, I say do it afraid. Do it afraid. After you have done what ND has shared and what Mom Pastor Rosa has shared, after you've taken those steps, how do it? And you do it afraid. And you do it knowing that yes, it's gonna hurt, but guess what? I gotta take this band-aid off. I gotta let the wound heal. Um, I gotta let the air hit it. I have to let it go through its process. Do is this what I want? No, but this is what I have to do because this isn't serving me. Because it's like you have to pick your pain in a sense. Because if I stay here on this side, this is hurting me. This is breaking my heart. This is breaking me down. This is hurting my feelings. It drains you emotionally. So do I deal with that pain, letting it continue? Or do I deal with the pain of now cutting off what's hurting me, stopping, you know, what's happening to me, um, and allow myself to now deal with the pain of healing. I'd rather deal with the pain of healing than with the pain of continuing to hurt because there's something beautiful, like I said, that's coming out of my pain of healing. But as long as I stay in my pain of hurt, it's going to continue to be infectious. It's going to continue to break me down. And then the work I'm going to have to do to fix myself is going to be even greater. And I will have lost all of the work that I would have put in to get me where I am. And for me, I can't do that. I know the work that I've put in to get me into the space where I am as a person. So, yeah, I got to do it afraid, and I have to deal with the pain of healing versus the pain of the problem. So I hope that um, helped. But you go ahead, give your final comments, and then I'm gonna or give your answer.
Yeah, I think what all of y'all said is wisdom. I also like Dr. D said is it depends and every situation is different. But I do need people. I think we need to understand you're going to get hurt, but it's also when you hurt, it's time for healing. I think you should get an understanding when you are hurt
Hmm.
to get that fought and communicate. You may have to talk to someone like Pastor Rosa, Lady Dawn B, Dr. D, and people in the chat. You must, and then you bring that within yourself and see what gives you comfort so you may heal and prosper when you are healing. If you block it out, it still will going to come back So you must understand when you block something out. You must apply patience, because sometimes people get try to go fast and get through that healing, but yet have misunderstanding on what's going on and why they was hurt. And sometimes you have to get to know within yourself, how do you feel. And when you feel a certain way, you want to communicate within yourself and get an understanding of who you are within you. And that can go many different ways. But you must understand you're going to get hurt, and you're going to get hurt again and again and again. The point is, how you going to be able to heal yourself, either within yourself or without yourself, by talking to different people, reading, doing different things. It's not one thing, as Dr. D and they all say, fits all. If
Mhm.
it was, then that we wouldn't be sitting here talking, because all of us went through different situations throughout our life. And it takes those situations to make us who we are today, as long as we learn from them and accept what we learn and apply it, that when hurt does come, we have something to heal us from it.
That's good. Thank you, Vaughn, for those amazing, encouraging words. Thank you, Dr. ND, for your shares. Thank you, Mommy, for being the wisdom and the grace in the room. Always appreciating you. And thank you to everyone who joined us on tonight as we are ending this year. This is the last Thursday. It's the last time you will see us in this year on this side of the calendar. But we will be back and see you in the new year. We are looking forward to that so very much. Want to encourage you to do whatever is necessary to wrap up those loose ends in your life, not because it's the end of a year, but because you owe it to yourself periodically throughout the year to show up as the best version of yourself. And we cannot do that when we have too many things lingering in the wind behind us. So I encourage you all to wrap up whatever you need to wrap up. Do it in love, do it with grace, but do it knowing that you are going to come out all the better in the end. What's for you will come to you. I want to end with these few things. I do want to invite you to join us again next week. I believe we'll be here on Thursday. If not, we'll let you know there will be a replay if we are not live in place, but we will see you in 2025. But I want to wrap up with this. It's the name of a book by James Baldwin that says the title is Every Goodbye Isn't Gone. So even when you're wrapping things up and you're bringing different points of relationships to an end, know that there's still a possibility of a beautiful beginning or a re-beginning. Sometimes we have to end things in one stage so that we can take our time and get ourselves together and show up differently and reintroduce ourselves. Again, you will never get the same version of me once something is broken or damaged. After healing, we show up different and we show up stronger than we were before. So just remember, every goodbye ain't gone. A relationship is not necessarily over just because you say goodbye to someone. Maybe down the line, there's an opportunity for you to come back together and be better for each other. I'm also reminded of a scripture in the Bible, Ecclesiastes 7, is 8, verse 8 to 14, which says, "Better is the end of a thing. Um, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof." Sometimes it's better for us to wrap something up. It's because it brings us to the goal. We've met the goal of this situation, this relationship, this space. It was better that we are now to the end of it so that we have the opportunity to begin again. Again, we want you to be encouraged. Um, we end up in cycles and circles and in insanity, which is doing the same thing, expecting a different result when we don't finish what we start. So I want to encourage you guys to finish what you started. When we keep repeating the same system, we never achieve our goal Our growth is stunted and stagnant because we stop at the same place each time and we keep starting over at the same place. But we never show progression. Just because you're moving doesn't mean that we are completing or achieving what's needed for us to get to our next. There's a difference in ending something completed versus us quitting. I want to encourage you guys, don't quit. Learn to complete so that we can get to the end of a thing with a lesson learned, not a cycle repeated. Give yourself a chance to overcome a new hurdle instead of being intimidated by a stumbling block. Grow through it by wrapping it up properly so that you will move forward in peace when you do and not in damage. So I am your Thursday night host, Lady Dawn B. Thank you guys so much for joining us, not just tonight, but these 52 weeks of 2024 have been amazing. Join us for 52 more on the other side of now. Next time we see you, it'll be in 2025. And we are excited to bring back Thursday Night with Lady Dawn B for year number 3. And we are bringing back the squad. We are going to have some new voices as well. And it's just going to be an amazing time. Remember, this is not counseling. This is conversation. We have real talk with real resolutions. We thank you so much for joining us. Have a Merry Christmas. I want to wish my best friend, my bestie, Lady Tawana Frazier, a happy birthday, whose birthday was yesterday. I want to wish a happy birthday to my sister, Desiree, whose birthday is tomorrow, and also my dear sweet friend for life, love him to pieces, DJ B Black, who's both of them, their birthdays are tomorrow. I love you guys so much. Thank you, and I hope you have a great time. Happy New Year, everyone. Enjoy your night. And we were out. Hang tight with me, crew. And then we are done. Come back next week, guys. See you then.